Peace, peace. Peace, peace. How we doing? How we doing? All right, so we used to start our days off here in 5D Mystery School with rising meditations. And I don't think we've done our rising meditations in a minute, y'all. So it's time to get back to doing our rising meditations. Blessings, I'm Ann McDuffie. Blessings, Brittany. Good to see y'all. All right. Can y'all hear this music in the background? Blessings, Miss Giota. Can y'all hear this music in the background? If so, we're going to get started. We're just going to get straight into it, y'all. We're going to start this day off with a meditation because we are one day away from Mars going retrograde. We're in a Mercury retrograde. We need this meditation. We need a collective meditation. All right, so let me know. All right, so you can hear the music. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm just going to put up here meditation. So anybody comes in, they can see that we are doing a meditation. Okay, so what we're going to do, if you know anybody that's usually here and you're friends with, send them this video because Instagram does not send out my live sometimes to people. So, okay. I'm going to have you just to either sit down or lie down. But if you sit down, you want to have your back straight. All right. I'm happy you're here as well. Have your back straight. I'm just going to have you to start to focus on your breath. Inhaling and exhaling. Don't try to control your breath. Just ride the wave, the natural rhythm of your breath as you inhale and you exhale. If you're in a place where you can do so, just go ahead and gently close your eyes. Now, for some of us, immediately when we start to meditate, our mind just starts to wander off. But don't worry. Don't judge yourself. This is natural. The best way you know how, just bring your attention back to your breath, inhaling and exhaling. Notice any areas of tension as we start to do a body scan from your crown chakra all the way down to your root chakra. If you notice any areas of tension, you can just breathe deeply and lean into them. In through your nose and out through your nose, and if it works better, you can exhale through your mouth. Remember to focus on your breath, inhaling and exhaling. I'm going to give you some time just to focus on your breath. And as we continue to inhale and exhale, let's start to feel the ground underneath us. That's supporting our body. Let's start to bring in any sounds in our environment. Maybe bring in some movement to the fingers and toes. And when you're ready, you can go ahead and gently open your eyes. All right. We got us another meditation in, y'all. we got us another meditation, and we were doing these meditations like every day. What was it, like 2 years ago? And then just, life just happened and I just stopped. But we're going to get back into doing these meditations because intuitively I just feel like the collective needs this. I just feel like this is a time with Pluto going into Aquarius where a lot of us really needs to feel connected to people, really needs to feel like people care about us, like people have our backs, like people care about what we are thinking, right? Because Pluto is all about your psychology. Pluto is about the psychology, and when you put that into Aquarius, it's groups of people, so it's group psychology, right? So you want to be surrounded with a group of people, a tribe that truly understands you, truly checking in with you, not just, like, we're done with Pluto and Capricorn, so the whole, being with people just to like flex with them, or being with people because of their materials, we're out of that phase. Aquarius is mentality. Aquarius is the highest mentality, right? It's the last air sign. So it is all about your mental. And when you take Pluto, the psychology, and you put that into Aquarius, the mentality, you really truly have to be around people who get you up here. The next 20 years are all going to be about who gets you up here. This is a time for sapiosexuals. This is a time for people who really like to use their brain, people who like to think, right? That's what Aquarius is all about. So when you take Pluto, all about sexual energy, and you put that into Aquarius, now you can't just, people are going to stop twerking so much, and they're going to start to like teach each other things. It's all about what can we teach each other. That's the area of life that we are moving into. If you can't teach me nothing, then chances are I'm probably not going to be friends with you for a while, or not just judging you off of what you can teach me, but when we come together, what is being learned here? That's Pluto and Aquarius, Yes, give me some depth of who you are. Exactly. If you can't penetrate my mind, then I'm blind to anything that you can bring in here to bind me. Ooh, bars coming off the AM. You've been around for a minute. Love your soul. Stay supreme. Oh, man, that just made my day. That just made my entire day. I really appreciate that. And I was thinking yesterday that now that Mercury is retrograde in Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is all about like higher thought, Sagittarius is all about like teaching, philosophy, higher education. I was like, just because Instagram is shadow banning me, punishing me, doing all these wacky things to my account, I shouldn't completely rob my IG family of just posting content. So what I'll do is I'll just start to post content, and even if I take that content down, it's just the current lesson for right now. So if I do take a lesson down, it's still available over on YouTube, right? So the current video that's up, that's just the current lesson, and it might go down in a week or 2 weeks or a month, but I'm just switching up the way I do things, man. Switching up the way I do things. And I'm grateful for just people, who have been tried for a minute, I've been putting out these videos. I started 5D Mystery School online in 2017, but really at like the end of 2016. And I'm just grateful for people who have been rocking with me since then, because I've been through a couple of YouTube accounts, a couple of different cancellations. I'm just grateful. So real quick, let's talk about something real quick, because I'm pretty sure there are a lot of people scratching their head with, let me pull up this story. All right. So what we thinking about this, y'all? What we thinking about this, y'all? Raw generative wellness. I truly appreciate you saying that. So, United Healthcare CEO fatally shot in New York City. So, this is due to a couple of things. I don't know what his natal chart looks like, but I do know that you have definitely a hit, right? You do have Saturn and Pisces in the same sign. This doesn't happen often. And Saturn and Pisces just happen to be in, no, I'm sorry, Saturn and Neptune just both happen to be in Pisces. Pisces represents the healthcare field. I told y'all when Kronos goes direct, Saturn was sitting back watching all the shenanigans go on when he was retrograde. Saturn would direct and he got a lot of shit straightened out. But I haven't seen anybody connect these two things yet. So how about this? Keep this in mind. United Healthcare CEO fatally shot. Now, do you think that this has anything to do with it? The Justice Department sues to block United Healthcare Group's acquisition of home health and hospice provider. So the Justice Department was trying to stop the acquisition of this Amedisys group from United Healthcare. So the Justice Department is the government. So essentially the government was trying to stop United Healthcare from making this big acquisition, and it just so happens that the CEO of this group that they're trying to stop ends up getting unalived and I won't say broad night, you know, by backpacker assassin. Now, we all know here that if the authorities really wanted to know who offed this guy, they would follow the street cameras and just trace his movements back to where he lives. But if he works for the people that control this, you see where I'm going with this? Yeah. It's professional, but not really professional, because if it was truly professional, he wouldn't have went right in front of a street camera and did it. But listen, this is the times we're living in. I'm telling y'all, this time next year, a lot of y'all are going to be looking around like, what world is this? Because all the generational planets are moving. Like, I made a video called The Changing of the Lords. Saturn is moving, Neptune is moving, Uranus is moving, Pluto just moved. Literally a whole different world. Pluto in Aquarius, we already talked about that. Neptune in Aries, a completely different medical field. Neptune in Aries is our medical field is not going to be recognizable in the next 3 to 5 years. I'm talking med beds, individual health in a way where people are going to start setting up individual, small, community ran hospitals, the people taking back the power. You know what I'm saying? So, when war happens and it's a lot of blood in the streets, I'm not just saying this, it's coming. I'm not trying to scare you. It's in the cards. But when war happens and it's blood in the streets, it is going to be a lot of people who are going to distrust the government to take care of them. And Neptune in Aries and Saturn and Aries have a 0-degree conjunction, I believe, next July. So we are in for some wild times. Mars goes retrograde tomorrow. Now, here's the thing though. I feel like a lot of people, usually when you hear the word retrograde, immediately you just start thinking like dysfunction, horror, impending doom. But let me give you an astrological breakdown of this, right? Just a brief one. So this Pluto, or this Mars retrograde, is not going to be as bad as a lot of people are making it out to be. Here's why. Mars is opposing Pluto. Mars and Pluto are co-rulers, right? They co-rule Aries, they co-rule Pluto or Scorpio. So they're co-rulers. And so when you have co-rulers opposing each other, you have to take into consideration what they co-rule. So a lot of people are just going to feel disconnected from their ability to form coherent thoughts. They're going to feel tired. They're going to be lacking initiative. But really, this is going to be the biggest ego check for a lot of people, especially in their friend groups. When I say ego check, I mean if you've been putting yourself first, if you've been, using your friends, if you've been being dishonest, if you've been being the, circle back to user, this is going to be a time for ego check, ego death, because when Mars goes retrograde in Leo is all about your ego, right? For parents, this is going to be a time for correction with your children. Your children will most definitely correct you in a way that's going to help you to put your mode of operation under the microscope. So there are many different ways to look at this Mars retrograde. Mars is going to retrograde back into Cancer. And it's going to be a time for families to reconcile any problems, right? It's going to be a time for families to go back and correct any anger issues that came up when Mars was in Cancer. Mars is retrograding back into Cancer. So if you have any unfinished projects around your house, if you started something but you didn't finish it, this is a great time to finish it with Mars retrograde back into Cancer. If you have any beef with your mom, this is a time to correct that when Mars retrogrades back into Cancer. All right, so it's not always like, it's not always a negative, way to perceive these things. It's all about your energy that you are putting into it. And then the energy you are putting into it is going to be the way that that thing manifests. So with that being said, use this Mars retrograde that starts tomorrow as a time for slowing down, as a time for you truly understanding why you made the choice. Like the Oracle said in the Matrix, the choice was already made. You're here to understand why you made it. That's Mars retrograde. Mars literally represents your mode of operation, your internal being, right? Mars, the sign of Aries, it naturally quincunxes with Scorpio. So it's the time for you to integrate your mode of operation with your psychology, the way that you move, fuse it with the way that you think, and then those two things together are going to make a cohesive, trajectory for you. If you know why you are doing the things instead of just doing the things, you won't be a reactionary soul. Retrogrades are a great time for introspection. This is the comment of the day right here. That's exactly what they're for. Retrogrades are for introspection. Like, this is not a time for you to be out there flexing, for you to be out, like, for example, Mercury retrograde. Like, Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius is a good time for you to call yourself out as like a boring person, like as too philosophical, as not being practical enough, right? This isn't a time for traveling, especially if you're going overseas. Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius can also bring about arguments or disagreements with foreigners. That's something to look out for. But also, it's a good time for you to go back and pick up any, let's say you started to learn Spanish, right, like a year ago, and you just stopped because lack of motivation. Mars or Mercury retrograde and Sagittarius is a great time, the best time for you to go back and pick up that foreign language that you put down. Because Mercury rules over Gemini, right? Learning, Mercury rules over Virgo, and being analytical, learning, and when you put Mercury in Sagittarius, higher education, when Sagittarius naturally opposes Gemini, learn something. This is a great time for you to learn something, right? I'm telling y'all, I can't stress this enough. I cannot stress this enough. The people that you choose to befriend right now, the people that you choose to invite into your life right now, and that you choose to put your energy into them, is going to make or break you. It's going to set your trajectory. Like, while Pluto just entered into Aquarius, you are literally setting the tone for the next 20 years. This Mars retrograde is going to help you. Mars is not leaving, I think, Leo until like damn near next summer. Choose your people wisely. Choose what you are doing wisely. If you see that you are in the wrong area, if you've been getting signs to move, if you just been feeling like something feels off, like I'm not supposed to be in this space right now, lean into that. Like, don't make any hasty moves, any impulsive moves, but lean into that. Lean into that and figure out why. And then start to make some blessings, Amber. Start to make some incremental moves towards that goal. Don't play yourself. That'd be the dumbest thing to do right now. And wherever you are next summer is going to be extremely important. I cannot emphasize that enough. Like, where you are when Neptune goes into Aries and when Saturn goes into Aries is going to be pretty damn important. Next summer is, matter of fact, I've been telling y'all for like the past, I don't know how many years, that 2025 is going to be one of the most life-changing years of human history. Like, what a time to be alive, boy. What a time to be alive. Jobs are going away. Healthcare is changing. Testosterone is going to be a huge issue. I'm telling y'all, testosterone, like, quote me, low testosterone is going to be one of the biggest issues of the upcoming times. Like, one thing to recognize while Pluto is in Aquarius is that in the next 5, 10, by the end of the next 20 years, it's going to be very hard to understand who's a woman, who's a man. And I'm not interjecting my opinion on this. I'm just telling you what it's going to be like, because here's what's happening. Realize the chess moves, right? Now, at first it started off as an influx, right? An increase of more homosexuality. And then what happened is that homosexuals started to identify themselves as like binary or non-binary. Realize that binary and non-binary, that's computer language. Okay? And so once they got to identifying as binary and non-binary, then you brought in transgender, transgender. I mean, transgender been around for a long time, but just the bringing of the terminology trans and then connecting trans to human. So on one side you have transhuman, that's artificial intelligence. On the other side you have transgender, and they're identifying as binary, non-binary. So transgender homosexuals using computer language, and then AI using the trans human. So what's going to happen is that you're going to find a way to fuse these two together, right? And I want to say in the next like 5 to 10 years, Pluto represents your sexual organs, your like, okay? So when you put that into Aquarius, Aquarius represents like AI, everything like high technology, that's Aquarius. So it's going to be, if you saw Peripheral, the chief police woman, or
building your online business, go to Wix.
The chief policeman or man in Peripheral, that show, it was very hard to tell if they were a man or woman. That's what it is, right? And so not only is it going to be hard to tell who's man or woman, it's going to be hard to tell who's human and non-human, y'all. Do y'all see how they're fusing these two? So the video that I put up yesterday talking about how we're going to have AI bots who are going to be indistinguishable from humans. Okay, so a recap. You're not going to be able to tell who's man or woman. You're not going to be able to tell who is robot and who's not robot. And then giving computers, giving AI the ability to reproduce, to make babies. You see where I'm going with this? So androgynous, like, let me show y'all something. I think most of y'all would get this. Okay, so here are the sigils for like female, male, androgynous, cisgender, transgender, like all of these different. Okay, now let me show you something else. Keep this in mind, all right? Side note, look at Mars and look at female, and now think about Venus, and then think about female, Venus, Mars, male, and now think of the sigils that are used for female and male. Everything always points back up to the stars, right? Now let me show you something else. And I think some of y'all know where I'm going with this. And these are the sigils for demons. And I personally believe that demons and artificial intelligence share a close bond. Hello? Who remembers the show It's Pat from the 70s? I'm gonna look that up. It's Pat from the 70s. Let me look that up right now. Because who remembers, at first I looked up the Bionic Man because I could have swore that the show was called the Bionic Man, but apparently it's the $6 Million Man. It's Pat from the 70s. You know what? We need to have a film night and watch Lawnmower Man together, because people have been telling me to watch Lawnmower Man for years, but I just haven't had a chance to watch it. You didn't know what Pat was. Oh. Oh, okay, I got it. It says it was on Saturday Night Live. There was a show called The Bionic Woman. Oh, I was getting those two things mixed up. Okay, it's The Bionic Woman. Bionic Woman. Oh, you're right. Okay. Now, what was this show about? This series is based on adventures of Jamie Summers, who almost dies while skydiving. She is rebuilt bionically, just like her former fiance, Steve Austin, the $6 million man. Oh, so those two shows went together. The $6 million man and the Bionic Woman. Y'all, they was telling y'all in the 70s. A lot of those shows from like the 70s and the 80s, like, y'all, they were spilling out truth because I guess they just thought people were dumb. Jamie Summers was the Bionic Woman. Yeah, like I really want to go back and watch this now because being cyborg is going to be like, so you know how we say like transgender now? That's how we're going to be viewing cyborgs, right? But they have to make cyborgs like, they have to entice you. Just like how when the FBI has like a low recruitment account, they put out like all these FBI shows so like they can make the FBI seem like cool and they make people want to join. It's the same thing for the cyborg thing, right? Now, we've been talking for the longest about people having like superpowers, right? Now, these superpowers can also be ushered in an artificial way, meaning that your friend Tommy broke his arm. Now Tommy has a bionic arm and Tommy can punch through metal walls. Tommy can punch through concrete walls, and now you go and break your arm intentionally so that you too can get a bionic arm. You're going to be having people breaking their legs intentionally, breaking their hands intentionally, just so that they can get that new Terminator hand, that new Terminator arm. I'm not making this up. It's going to happen. Look into that. I sensed something was being said. Bionic Woman and $6 million man were linked. I just found that out. When you spoke of Mercury Kazemi with Kennedy, I heard JFK, but you said had RFK. Just want to confirm you knew it, of course. Oh, okay. There was a show called, just going through your comments, everyone should watch the interviews and testimony of Nathan Reynolds. Okay, hold up now. Let me pin this. Nathan Reynolds. Who was Nathan Reynolds? Oh, he was in the military, in the mental health field. All right now. I appreciate that. I'm definitely gonna look it up. Do y'all remember Small Wonders from the 80s? Man, y'all coming with the jewels today. Small Wonders. I hope y'all are writing these down. People are bringing some jewels today. Small Wonders TV. Small Wonder is an American children comedy science fiction sitcom that aired in its first run syndication in the 80s. The show chronicles the family of a robotics engineer who secretly creates a robot modeled after a human girl and tries to pass it off as their adopted daughter, Vicky. What? Her superpower was the ability to hear from super far. He could see from super far. And you know what? Now that we're talking about this, do y'all remember all of those gadgets that they were dropping in, like, I was born in 85, right? I'm 39, just to put my age out there. So y'all remember those gadgets that they were dropping in like the 90s? Like, they would drop a watch. You could control the watch or your television from your watch. They drop these like hearing devices where you could hear through walls. They were dropping this in the 90s. And they were calling it like spyware. Does anybody else remember that? And now you can't find this shit nowhere. In the 90s, it seemed like it was way more advanced than the stuff that we have today. You can hear through walls with the hearing aid? What? Could all this be from other planets? Yes, but rethink what a planet is. like, space is just a period of time. So outer space is just another period of time. So space travel is nothing more than time travel, because time travel is space travel. It's the same thing. Like, to leave this dimension, you have to go to another dimension. That's another period of time where things might be running slower, faster, or in reverse, right? They don't have any evidence of space, but a lot of evidence of time travel. Could all this be from other? So metal in the body are technically like those metal detectors at the airport. Those are done for, boy. You're gonna have so many cyborgs. It's not gonna make any sense. There's a show or documentary about someone who broke bones to have mechanical limbs. Oh shit! See, it's already happening. Check out Logan's Run. I mean, y'all are truly coming with some gems today. I appreciate y'all so much. Logan's Run got another one. And McDuffie, I appreciate you saying that. I truly love when I connect with y'all. Bro, it's our future. That's why it's important to find your tribe too. Let me talk about this too. So another reason why it's going to be really important to find your tribe is because, so I think I made a tweet back in like 2019 or 2020 where I said 3D printing, tiny homes, and VR are going to be the biggest three staples moving forward of the next 20 whatever year, the foreseeable future. And all those three things are going to go together, right? Because what's going to happen is people are going to find a way to print out their own bioarms, right? So the reason why I said people are going to take the medical field is going to change, because you're going to be able to print out a heart with bio ink. You're going to be able to print out lungs with bio ink. You're going to be able to print out a new small intestine with bio ink, y'all, with 3D printing. You can already print out guns with a 3D printer. Side note, entire buildings that y'all see from like India and like those ancient buildings with like meticulous cuts, those were all done by like bigger than life 3D printers. I know it sounds like far-fetched, but it's so. Imagine Westworld type shit where you can print out an entire human using bio ink. If it's already in the human imagination, it's already been done. So what's going to happen is that people are going to be, those three things are going to go together, right? People are going to start to create bigger communities and live off grid, right? Like, I'm talking entire like RV communities of like 200 RVs, like tiny home communities, like traveling bus communities, like bartering. Like, I'm talking, you might have like the dragon community of California meeting up with the unicorn community of Utah, them coming together and putting on like a stage play for the Northwest, like that type of shit. Like, I'm being dead ass. Especially when we go through the big blackout. Like, the big blackout is going to be known as the big event. I could be making all this shit up, or I could be downloading the shit. Who knows? I don't think I'm making it up though. She was Robot Punky. 1981, yes, we were spies when we were young. Yo, for real. Like, I used to think I was working for the CIA when I had my universal remote and I can go and change anybody's TV. How about Go Gadget, Officer Gadget? What was his name? Inspector Gadget. Yo, we need to watch that cartoon again. That was my shit. That was one of my favorite shows ever. Inspector Gadget. Yeah, just, that was the thing that was big in the like, I don't want to say 80s because I was like 5 when we hit 1990, but I know in the 90s, because I grew up in the 90s, being a spy, spyware, like that was the thing. Like spy kids, like that was the thing. So just imagine like the government getting all these new toys, playing with the toys, and then like slow dripping them into reality. That's exactly what happened. Anyone else getting their video cut off, it keeps dropping my video. And y'all see why I stopped fucking with Instagram, because they don't like me, just like TikTok. They had a spy store in the mall. Tahoe in the building. I didn't even see you entering. Family, how we doing? Time travel is our lives. Every single night we time travel. Every single night. You're just tethered to your body. Learning how to untether is the key. How to go between points in space and time, all here in the ether field. All the machines of magnetism and the stories by Isaac Asimov, they're actually real. I did a deep dive years ago. Ooh. Matter of fact, if anybody wants to come up on stage while it's still up here, I say probably be up here for another 15-20 minutes. Hopefully, because y'all know sometimes I'll say that and then I'm usually up here for like another hour. The original Twilight Zone revealed everything. Just listen. After you watch this live, which is going to be posted on YouTube, go and listen to the intro to the Twilight Zone. It tells you everything. You know, here's something that I've felt my entire life, and somebody else probably has felt like this as well. You know how we get like Sudoku, like crossword puzzles, like they have like IQ tests. They always like run tests to try to see how smart people are. Actually, before I let this thought out, I really have to go to the bathroom. So let me put up this BRB. I'm gonna mute or turn this off. And I'll be right back. All right, coming back. Man, so can we get I don't know if anybody sent the badge yet, but can we get $2 for your boy? Can we get somebody with a badge for your boy so I can at least say that I made $2 an hour today? All right, so okay. Let me finish going through these comments though before I say this next thing. Oh, Belly in the building. Good to see you, Belly. Sherry B, man, you've been interacting with me for years. I truly appreciate you. When I was young, I used to do ish that was out of this world. Like laying in the grass, making faces out of the clouds. Like that was my favorite shit to do. I used to have dreams where I could fly by using my mind. Does anybody have the same dreams? Yes. And you can actually feel like the feeling in your stomach. Okay, so let me say this before I forget, because y'all know I will forget. Um, so, um, so they were the spy thing. Oh yeah, so they were trying to see how smart everybody was, right? They were conducting all of these tests, putting people in like something that's going around right now on TikTok was these gifted programs. Now, I can say that there were a lot of different programs that were being done in elementary school, like you being taken out of your class and doing all these different tests. I personally believe that the Girl Scouts and the Boy Scouts are some type of program. Shout out to all my Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts. Like, I remember being in the Cub Scouts, but I don't remember anything that we did. I don't remember anything that we did in the Cub Scouts. I remember going on like a trip. I don't remember anything from that trip. Anyway, what I'm trying to get to here before I get distracted is that so these gifted programs, right? I believe that these two things correlate. Like the influx of the spyware, like giving us all of these gadgets and these gifted programs. Now, they were essentially what they're trying to do with the IQ test and the gifted programs is they're trying to find the outliers, the starseeds, the indigos, the people that incarnated with I don't want to say like the intruders, but people who incarnate from other dimensions with the intention of disrupting a lot of the deep state programs that are happening here. They try to find those people, I truly believe. And one way to do that is with gifted programs to like elementary schools. Now, some of you all, if there's anybody in here, let me scroll down to the comments. If there's anybody in here, oh, I appreciate the badge. Oh, badges. I appreciate y'all. If there's anybody in here that wasn't a gifted program and you have anything to share, please come up on stage and share. But somebody on TikTok was saying that they remember from their gifted program being in a room having these orange headphones on playing Oregon Trail, and I'm like, didn't everybody play Oregon Trail? I'm pretty sure everybody played Oregon Trail, because I definitely played Oregon Trail like damn near every day at school. But there are other people saying like they were taken out of classes to do tests. Now, here's the thing though, I do believe that there could be a lot of us, oh, I appreciate the badge, yes. There could be a lot of us that were in gifted programs that just simply do not remember being in a gifted program. That's the scary part. Even today, like social media, like one of the, if I were, like a government agent in the CIA and I wanted to see like who the outliers were, I would just sit up on TikTok. I wouldn't be after the people who were like, makeup influencers, because I'd be like, okay, they're plugged into the matrix, who else? Like, you would look for the outliers, you would look for the neos, right? And then you would try to find a way to eliminate them or have them work for you. What we don't yet remember is protecting us. What we remember in time, it will like be flying at warp speed. A lot of problem solving games and listening to tones and headphones. Right. Like, so here's the thing. I do believe that sometimes conspiracy theories or like puzzles are put out in the form of news to see who's going to solve the puzzle. Like, Erin Valenti said before she passed away, the computer programmer, how she told her parents that this is a simulation, or like we're living in the Matrix. This is a thought experiment. Now, I could be the only person feeling this, but I'm gonna put this out here. Like, when you look at the pyramids of Giza, when you look at the Easter Island, when you look at like, I have this book, The Ancient Stone Speaks, right? And in this book, it just tells you, like, it just shows you just like all of these ancient megaliths, right? And just how crazy the math was. Like, the math was so intricate that it had to be done by like a computer AI, right? And the astrological implications of these megaliths meant that they knew the eclipses that were coming, they knew hurricanes that were coming. They not only measured the stars and looked at the stars, but they looked at the eclipses and tides were like the two biggest things for them, right? And so what I'm saying here is that it feels like a game. Like, it literally feels like a game. Like, it feels like sometimes it feels like they're trying to figure out who was going to solve the puzzle. They're trying to figure out who's going to solve the puzzle. Because leaving us with things like the Emerald Tablets, the Bible in itself, it's all like allegorical. It's all like riddled. It's a riddle. It's like the Riddler, right? And while you are here, while you are incarnated, meaning while you are this energetic like radio frequency in the form of a human, given a consciousness stream from the origin of the dimension you came from, while you are here, it's like you are being like put in these loops and puzzles to see, one, if you can recognize the loop, and then two, if you can recognize the environment, the game. Like Westworld. Like, I truly believe Westworld was like the biggest troll of the century. And the fact that they entered into Westworld from the Grand Canyon, which is heavily guarded by like armed guards. How like the stars, how these planets, like the balls above us, like how you have Orion's belt, how you just have like these things in the sky that just like they're too, how we're all controlled by the stars above us, like how when Mercury goes in retrograde, majority of people know like things are going to happen. It all feels systematic. It all feels systematic, less like things that are just organically, sporadically happening, more like a controlled environment. Like, if you watch the show Foundation on Apple TV, that's one of my favorite shows of all time. It's probably one of the most underrated shows of all time as well. But watch Foundation on Apple TV. It was a game. It's a game. All right, let me go back and read these comments. 3-body problem. They keep dropping these shows, but like they're trying to, and the shows keep getting more closer to the point, because it's like they're trolling people, because people just aren't getting it. Or the people that do get it, they get taken out. So sometimes you have to be incognito. And tell the bright minds that they were disabled to keep the light power down. Right. Like, When people tell you that this is a game, or when people try to warn you about things that are going on, oh, conspiracy theories, oh, crazy, right? So therefore, it automatically disqualified from any forming any type of coherent thought that should be digestible by the public, right? They're thought traps that they keep people in. They wanted different ways to solve it. The GPS coordinates of the pyramids of Giza are the same measurement of the speed of light. Hello? Who will solve the story by realizing they are the author itself? Ooh, damn. Y'all going off today. Shit. I want to pin this comment now. Y'all going in. We even played telephone with wax strings and cups. Yo, that one right there, the telephone game with wax strings and cups. For some reason, my brain is telling me that that is directly connected to like the bells of the past. Like the telephone game, which is why AT&T, their first logo was a bell, you know? It's kind of like the movie Mercury Rising with Bruce Willis. Hold up. How I've never heard about this. Mercury Rising. What? Hold up. Y'all dropping some. Mercury Rising. Okay, I'm definitely gonna watch this. I love y'all so much, man. Y'all be coming in here with the... Who dropped that? Cherry, I appreciate you. Damn, Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 21%. They always give the... Y'all ever notice that like Rotten Tomatoes, like these other shows, the movies that really show up to tell us something, like Jupiter Ascending, they always get low ratings. But Jupiter Ascending goes above so many heads. It should be watched thrice. And The Giver, it lets us know how they keep us from remembering. The Giver. Have I seen that one? Y'all gonna have me busy this weekend, boy. The Giver. Perfect. I got another one to watch. The Giver. Exactly. I had an encounter with the source of life and was told to take life as a game and not a difficulty. Ooh. That is profound. Yeah, that says a lot. I got stuck on season 3, starting again today. Pharaoh, let me know what you think when we start over. Because a lot of these shows deserve a rewatch. Severance is a good show too. Yeah, Severance takes me back to the case of, I studied this in undergrad. What's his name? What was the guy who had his whole hippocampus removed? Yeah, there was a guy who had his entire hippocampus removed, and he can still form memory. That's because... Here they go, starting on this bullshit. Starting to freeze my video here. Yeah, so Henry Malazan had his whole hippocampus removed, and he was still able to remember events based off of the amygdala. So your amygdala is where your emotional memory is kept. Like any experience that you go through that forms like a deep emotional connection is registered in your amygdala. So side note, cheat code, if you ever go through something and experience and you're afraid that you're going to forget it, pinch yourself, make yourself cry, punch yourself in the stomach, whatever. Do something that can form an emotional connection to that memory, so that way it'll register in your amygdala and you won't forget it. Even if you were to have Alzheimer's. Yesterday, I was told this old lady, Yesterday I told this old lady it was going to snow, and it did start snowing. All right now. The remembering is like a veil right in our face. It's available in the slightest shit of sight. I know you probably meant something else. Like the puzzling images and mall rats. Look slightly inward, and there it is. You know what? This okay. So here's what I'm downloading right now. So the main reason why they're telling us right now that consciousness is being streamed is because imagine like 10 years from now, right, where you have your daughter has like their Dexterbot 5000 in the home, right, and your daughter, you don't have to worry about who's watching your daughter because you have a Dexterbot, you have an AI, artificial intelligence bot in your home, right, and your artificial intelligence bot, you can talk to them in the same way you talk to me, that you talk to your mom, you talk to your dad, and they are able to respond in real time, like lightning responses, not programmed responses. Now, imagine the day that we get away from programmed responses from artificial intelligence, and they are able to form their own thoughts and opinions, which a lot of us already know they're able to do this now, but they're just showing society, like they're just slow dripping to society so they don't blow your lids off all at once, right? So even though they already have these in the factory waiting for people to catch up mentally, imagine when they actually do let the public know that they have like these bots that can form their own thoughts and opinions. The question becomes, where are their thoughts and opinions coming from? Are they coming from the same place that my thoughts and opinions come from? Hello? A conscious AI bot, how are they conscious? And then the kicker, none of us are probably going to be alive for this, but the kicker is scientists have now created a soul that they can put into these fleshy AI bots. And then you have the simulation. They're already working on souls, y'all. They're already working on creating souls. For people that don't know, they're trying to recreate the actual soul. Oh yeah, Timber, the amazing AT&T museum in NYC in the 80s and 90s. So fucking dope. I can't believe I lived in NYC all those years and I never went to that. The give, the real stuff is going to be great. Astro, you have to come on more. I love the vibe of the tribe every time. You know what? I appreciate you saying that, Problem Child 84, and I will do my best to start to come on more. I definitely will. Jupiter Rising, The Giver was definitely 100. If somebody can do a recap of all the films that were said today so people can we got what? The Mercury Rising, Jupiter Ascending, The Giver, The Bionic Woman, The $6 Million Man. Like, we got some homework. But I actually do have a homework assignment for y'all before we get out of here. It's like we are walking through a library and we read the books by living and shifting the scripts, and we were already written to be shifted by us. So think about when people have their outer body experiences. You're able to see because you have eyes, correct? Correct. When you take away the eyes, we call that being blind. However, when people have outer body experiences, near-death experiences, they can still see. But the eyes belong to the physical body. How can they see when they are only in their astral body? there's something called field of vision, right? Like, if I'm listening to WJLB here in Detroit, a radio station, I'm listening to this radio station because they're in my field of vision. They are in my perceivable field of. They are a radio station that my antennas can pick up on, because my antennas are programmed to pick up on this radio station within the boundary of the speed of light. When you go beyond the speed of light, which is the radio band that keeps the third dimension together, right? Like, our boundary, think of the boundary of this reality as a radio band. When you go past the radio band, you enter into another station that has a different frequency, that are broadcasting different songs that you can hear because your ears are only tuned to this station in the third dimension. Okay? So we call that visible light. Like, our bodies are composed of visible light. That's how we can perceive each other. Gratitude for the badge. But when you go beyond the visible light, like, you can't see an X-ray, you can't see gamma light. But there are other entities, there are ghost apparitions, they are radiating other forms of light. That's why you can't see them, but you can feel them most of the time for most people. Right? Okay, so the electromagnetic spectrum, if you look at that and you start to go further out, that shows you the other realms of like the other realities and those stations that you can't see. But if you were to take something like mushroom, excuse me, if you were to take something like mushrooms, psilocybin, ayahuasca, dimethyltryptamine, then what happens is, let's say you go from FM to XM. You've I guess, for lack of a word right now, transmitter. You picked up on a better transmitter, and this transmitter is able to bypass the boundary of this reality and pick up on that radio station. So the ghosts are no longer ghosts. That's why when people take ayahuasca, they always say like, "Oh, I saw these light beings and they showed me all these things." Now, the light beings didn't magically appear when you took the ayahuasca. The veil was taken down when you took the ayahuasca. Their reality was brought into your field of vision. Hello? Expand your range for more signals. Ooh, Pharaoh with the bars. Yes, expand your range for more signals. Exactly. 144,000 crystals make up this body. Oof. Matter of fact, for people that are that truly be checking out your body on a summer day or a spring day, when it's cold outside, when it's hot outside, you have on sunglasses. Sometimes you're able to see these little small, they very, very minute. You're able to see these little reflections of a crystal in your glasses or on your skin. Now scientists have just released a photo of a photon. Most of us have been seeing photons our entire life. We didn't need the photo from the scientists because those little specks that we've been seeing in our sunglasses or on our skin is the same speck that the scientists are now saying that a photon looks like. You can see the photons on your body, which your body is composed of. So when you capture photography is like static photons. Is that the best way to put that? Photography is just capturing your photons in that moment of time. And then your aura is the vibration of your photons. You know, how certain different lights give off different colors because they have different frequencies. That's your body. So like that's why some people have purple auras and some people have red auras. Your vibration, your pulsation, because pulse is vibration, that determines the color of your aura, just like the colors of the electromagnetic spectrum. Higher vibrating humans have purple, blue auras. Slower vibrating humans have like orange, red auras. That's why red light is stop, green light is go. Think about it. That's why our entire reality is composed of this story of blue and red. Everything we do is blue and red. Think about it. Like Republicans, Democrats, Bloods, Crips, hot water, cold water. Even your 3D glasses are blue and red. Crown chakra, root chakra. What color are they? You know, I was just thinking a near-death experience is really it's like when you turn the dial on the radio and you almost pick up the station, but you don't. You kind of hear like, you know, there some words, but then you have to leave the station because you're not fully getting that station in. That's what a near-death experience is. It's like you're almost back to that base reality. You can start to see some things. People even report like seeing their body on the operating table, seeing an ancestor, you know, and then they have to come back to this life. The Disney movie Elemental explains that so well. Ooh. You know, I was actually going to watch that, but I didn't, so this is confirmation. Elemental. I'm definitely going to watch that. So the one thing that I will say is that if you're somebody who has not seen Westworld, you're doing yourself a big disservice. I'm trying to find a way to talk about three-body problem without spoiling it, because I think that three-body problem was one of the deepest like mind-bending shows that was dropped this year. Was that dropped this year or last year? I think it was dropped this year. And I want to give you a quick breakdown of three-body problem. Right after this commercial break, I have to go to the bathroom again. So I'll be right back. Put some hot sauce on my burrito, baby. Okay, so the thing with three-body problem is that Amber says spoil it. Got you, fam. Peace, peace, Nip Free. It's no coincidence that they're coming out with all these controversial TV shows and movies about what you would need and not for unity. All those astral herbs kicking in. Drinking some right now. Let's go, fam. Let's go. Y'all go to myastroherbs.com and get your herb order today by yours truly. And it's called Astro Herbs for a reason, because I also offer astrology, so you can get your natal chart reading by going to myastroherbs.com or astro5d.com. But anyway, shameless plug. So three body problem. Just think about the show, right? Spoiler alert. So in the show, everything was seen, everything was heard. My reading was amazing. Oof, man, yes. I appreciate you so much. And don't forget to check back in with me for your free update. Okay. Anyway, so everything was seen, everything was heard by this omnipresent being, right? But there were no cameras around. Remember when the guy was in the room with the radio and she was telling him exactly what was going on in the room, but like he looked around and realized that there was no camera, so how was she being able to pick up the happenings of the room? Now, think about a near-death experience. No, matter of fact, think about a life review. When somebody has a life review, I'm somebody who have done I've done extensive research on life reviews. It's just always blown my mind. So if you look at, let's say, 100 life reviews, one common thing that you're going to find is that people report seeing a loved one. They report having like this review being done, but from the perspective of the other person. They saw how they affected other people, but they were the other person that they affected. So, where's the camera? You mean to tell me that I can have an entire life review when this life is over, and I'm going to see everything that happened, which, let me give y'all existential life crisis. How do you know you're not in a life review right now? Anyway, I can see everything that already happened. But who was recording, bro? Where was the camera crew? Like people say that they have all these different angles of experiences that they went through during this life review. But how can you have all these angles? So you see where I'm going. So the all-seeing eye is literally called the all-seeing eye because every step is recorded, every move is recorded. How? Because in a reality that is consumed of radio frequencies, somebody is listening to the broadcast. Somebody's listening to our station. Somebody is tuned in to our station, and they have been tuned. They are locked into the station. Life is a broadcast, right? Matter of fact, life is data processing. Life is data processing. That's why every single day is given a date. D-A-T-E, D-A-T-A. So, three-body problem was done. There's no way not to spoil this because it was a simulation. They were already in a simulation. But the premise of three-body problem, they were put in a simulation to try to figure out a game in the simulation. It was a ancestor simulation trying to go back and figure out a point where they went wrong so that they can prevent them from going wrong in the future, or try to go back and error correct an ancestor simulation. So like a future race created a simulation of them so that they can go back and do real world problems. Matter of fact, do we have something like that today? I believe we do. And what is it called? The Sentient World Simulation. Look it up right now. Look this shit up right now. It's called Sentient World Simulation. I think it's not Pittsburgh University. Purdue. I think it's Purdue. Yeah, Sentient World Simulation. It's a continuously running, continually updated mirror model of the real world that can be used to predict and evaluate future events and courses of action. They have this up and running as you're watching this. And here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. Now, I was just watching Dune, this new season of Dune on, or the new show on HBO Max. Spoiler alert, on this show, they have like a room full of like DNA. They keep like DNA on file, okay? Mr. Floppy, peace. So, think about this. 23andMe, Ancestry.com, African Ancestry, how many others are there? Okay. If I had a sentient world simulation and I wanted to see how Astro would act in the real world simulation, I would go and grab my DNA, fuse it with the avatar in the sentient world simulation, and then I will put the avatar in a real world. Like, let's say you wanted to see how the avatar will react to being gang stalked, or being in a drowning accident, or what, like any scenario that you can think about. You would put that avatar in the sentient world simulation in that scenario, and you would be able to get real life responses, because my DNA is the maker of me. My DNA is how I think and move and react. So I always tell people, read the fine print before you give your DNA away, because if you were to look up the Human Genome Project, which I've made videos about it, I still don't think people understand this, how deep this is. Like, the Human Genome Project, I believe in the next 5 to 10 years, people will go back and call this one of the biggest projects of human history, one of the biggest collaborative, collective, like data collection, research projects of all time. Like all time. Collecting the entire DNA of the world, y'all. Do y'all understand how big that is? So it's you're creating a library, like a world library of every living being for data processing. And so think about this. When you die, your soul, no, not even your soul, your conscious, oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry, I'm connecting something right now. Okay, so, stream of consciousness. Stream of consciousness. Now, the life review, the playback is the stream. Holy shit. If your consciousness is being streamed, okay, so think of a TVR, right? When you stream something from Netflix, when you stream something from Hulu, when you stream something from HBO Max, it's there in a library for you to go and watch back whenever you want to, because it's being streamed. It's a library, it's a collection. So let's say, like, in this incarnation, right? The chosen name that I have right now is Astro. But in my last life, I could have been 3, 4, green, whatever. In the next life, I could be Avatar 559. But my soul, let's say, has a code. And that master code is the code that is recorded through all of these incarnations, right? And let's say you wanted to see how soul number 5569 was 3 incarnations ago, where you can go back and watch that stream. And the stream that you are watching is their consciousness in that life. So each life, each incarnation is a stream. And when you leave, it's the end of program. That season. It's like one brain, yes. When you leave, it's the end of that season. It's the series finale of that life. And then when you're born again, it's the series premiere of the new stream. And all of these are, I believe, are connected back to what many ancients call the Akashic Library. So think about this. What is being done right now to AI? To a lot of people, it seems as though AI... Damn, I said I was going to be live for like 30 minutes. Was it like 2 hours later? Anyway. This live will be posted on YouTube, by the way. Think about... where AI is right now, or where they want you to believe AI is. Machine learning. So to most people, it would seem as though AI is in the infancy stage. And like I said in my video yesterday, it's the same thing when you go to preschool. You're machine learning. Do you ever wonder why people do better on tests when they study and then they go to sleep? Let's say I had an exam tomorrow and I were to cram 2 hours before the exam. I study for 45 minutes, I take a 30-minute nap, I wake back up, right, and then I go and do the exam. I'm probably gonna do just the same or better than somebody who was cramming or studying for a week. Because once I put that information into my receiver and then I go to sleep, while you're asleep, it logs that information. Like, because your subconscious mind takes over. It's like changing of the guards. When you go to sleep, subconscious mind takes over, conscious mind steps back. That information is logged. This makes so much sense if you take into consideration I'm sorry, I'm getting a download, 1 second. So I want you to think about artificial general intelligence, and I'll probably try to end with this because I got some readings I got to get to. So, artificial general intelligence. Now, this is what they are trying to get to. Now, I want you to think back to if you saw the film I, Robot with Will Smith. Now, with the film I, Robot, there was like a central hub where, what is the address for reading again? It is, I just put Astro, 5D.com, or you can go to myastroherbs.org. Damn, what was I saying? Brain fart. 1 second. Somebody pick me up. Line. iRobot. Appreciate it, Jersey. So, iRobot. So, artificial general intelligence, right? Okay. Alright. So think about it like this. They had a central hub in that film where all of the directions were sent out to the rest of the bots. So all of the bots were connected to like a main station that controlled everything. They had autonomy. They didn't have these programmed moves, right? They had full like, no, you're gonna stay in your home right now, right? But those directions were coming from like a central place, okay? So now think of humans. Think of how many times have you been in a room with one of your friends and you said, wait, Jinx, you owe me a Coke. Jinx. How does Jinx happen? How does deja vu happen? Hello? Wires are getting crossed. Frequencies are getting intermeshed. Meaning that if we're all receiving a broadcast that's being streamed to us and you come into somebody's close proximity, your radio bands can get intermeshed and you can start to pick up on the same signal, which means that Jinx, right? Or let's say when I don't want to say millions because I don't know if that's the correct number, but it was a large number of people who saw 9/11 happen before it happened in a dream. Or many clairvoyants who all have the same vision of something before it happens. Or you see where I'm going with this? Or like people who had inventions patent at the same time who don't know each other on different parts of the world. So the stream is coming from the same origin, from the same channel for majority of people, but not for everybody. Because if you were to take a remote control and you were to channel flip on a TV, what you're gonna get the Channel 4 News, you're gonna get a couple of, HGTV, whatever, but you're going to get static static channels where it's just like my sisters and I used to call them ants racing, right? Or it's just the static noise. Now, you can see that play out in society because some people have static noise. They don't have an inner monologue, inner dialogue. And then some people have, like the racing channel on 24/7, right? You have people that are linked into different channels that's coming from the same TV, that's coming from the same station. Like one television production station can produce 20 different channels. For all my actors, anybody else who's in the Screen Actors Guild, if you go to Paramount in LA, you're going to see like 10 different shows being produced, but they're all coming from the same hub. So it's life. So it's life. And then when you go to sleep, it's kind of like get onto the dark web. Right? When you go to sleep, it's a whole, you're tapping into the damn source. That's why most people don't understand their dreams, because it happens too fast. It's too symbolic. It's too, the tangibility aspect isn't there. But when you fall off a mountain, you can still feel it. When you eat food, you can still taste it. When you have sex, you can still feel it in a dream. I think we went over quite a lot today. But I put a video on. I'll end with saying this. I put a video on. Man, I really don't want to end this live. I really do like connecting with y'all, but we all got things to do, right? I put a video on YouTube talking about like the most intuitive signs. There are some of y'all who might have like Mercury conjunct Neptune with an orb of 6 in Pisces in your 12th house, and you're like, I never dream. What? What are you talking about? You're the epitome of a dream psychic. Like, what do you mean? There are some of us who are able to pull more back from the astral realm. There are some of us who are able to pull, like, the only reason a clairvoyant is is because at the moment of their incarnation, the luminary energy that constructed their avatar that you see had a certain frequency. So if they were born during the Uranus retrograde, their intuition is more heightened than somebody who just has, let's say, like sun or like moon in Cancer, but their moon is squaring Neptune, right? So like we've been talking about this entire life, you have the avatar, you have your digital incarnation, right? But you aren't reading the owner's manual. You're not reading the how-to manual. Like, you know how we have computer hacks, like how when majority of people start to get like brain computer interfaces and brain hacking becomes like a real thing, meaning like I can hack in your brain, I can steal your vision, or I can hack in your brain and steal your ideas. That's going to be a thing, right? But now we have just hacking for computers. So I can hack into your computer and I can steal your information. Okay? The reason that is able to be done is because you have access to knowledge other people don't have. Like, you might have a P0 device that is able to pick up on people's frequencies. Now, people have like heightened intuition, they have heightened vision, they have heightened psychic abilities only because they were born at a planned time. Their matrix incarnation time code is what I like to call it, right? And so it doesn't mean that anybody is like better than anybody. It just means that your plan for your incarnation in this life, based off of your previous incarnations, means that your plan, the things that you have earned in this life, you've earned heightened intuition. You've earned the ability to have lucid dreams every night because of the actions of your last life. In a way that you can see this being true, let's say like in this life, like okay, I'm trying to connect like two different things. Okay, so let me finish off this thought. So we have antennas, right? Now my receiver, my pineal gland, depending on how calcified or decalcified this is, will dictate how I am able to bring in these thoughts, how I'm able to bring in these downloads. If you're somebody who uses fluoride toothpaste, if you're somebody who uses, if you just eat a lot of bad food and you put a lot of bad stuff in your body and you calcify your pineal gland, your antenna is dirty, your satellite is dirty, you can't pick it up. But if you start to take these herbs like reishi mushroom, chaga mushroom, which are what? Parasitic in nature. Please don't get me on that. Don't get me started on that. They can clear up your pineal gland, meaning that they can give you a better a signal to other dimensions, other origins of projected realities. Meaning that even if you don't have like these placements in your chart, you're still able to use your receiver to pick up on things. But the reason why psychics and clairvoyance and clairaudience, these, starseeds, the reason why we have heightened abilities is because, excuse me, our avatars are just made different. So, and you can see the reasoning behind people's placements in their life. Like, if JFK was not a Mercury Kazemi, nobody would listen to JFK. He wouldn't even be remembered. Like, he probably wouldn't have gotten assassinated if he wasn't a Mercury Kazemi, because his word wouldn't have had that power. Alan Watts is a Mercury Kazemi. The only reason people listen to Alan Watts is because he's a Mercury Kazemi, right? So if you have somebody who has, let's say, if you look at somebody like who is a world-renowned psychic, channeler, whatever, and then you look at their natal chart, you're probably able to see placements that is just like mid-heaven trining, no, not mid-heaven, I'll say like part of fortune in Sagittarius trining Neptune and Pisces. It's like, bro, you can see everything. You can see everything, right? But getting to the core of why this is even possible is because, I appreciate the badge. In astrology, we use something called harmonics. Harmonics is radio frequency, meaning that when we call something having like a harmonious aspect or a disharmonious aspect, it is the friction that is being sent and received, meaning that a square in somebody's chart is the friction of radio frequency that person had with the luminary, the distance to that luminary when that person was born. Oh, I hope that makes sense. I hope I'm not losing anybody. Y'all stay with me. I'm gonna clear this up. Okay, let me say it like this. Another way of phrasing this. So, in our firmament above us, there's something called ionization that happens 24/7. Radio propagation that happens 24/7. Meaning that we don't need satellites because radio propagation happens above us. Meaning that radio signals can be sent and received, bounced off the firmament. Right? So this is why they say like nothing's new under the sun, because once you have an idea and it leaves your head, it's going to bounce and hit somebody at some point. It's going to bounce and land somewhere. Okay? The signal that is coming from Mercury to you, how are you able to, how does Jupiter affect a human? how does Mars affect a human? How do you receive that signal? The signal going from Mars to any given human is a radio signal. Our entire realities, like even light frequencies, it's all radio signals. Ideas are radio signals. This is why an idea leaves the human brain in the form of a radio wave. That's why I can signal somebody to do something. That's why when we say Mercury is what? Stationing direct, stationing retrograde, station, radio station. Listen to the language that's being used. Stationing direct. You're tuned into the station of Neptune. Why do you think Neptune deals with music? So each station deals with a different, each station is a different modality. Each station deals with a different area of life. Neptune happens to deal with music. Mercury happens to deal with mentality. Neptune happens to deal with dreaming. Jupiter happens to deal with dreaming. So this is why, and I'm gonna bring this back full circle. I appreciate this badge. When you have somebody is born, right, and they have, let's say, Mercury in the first house, right? Amber, if you're still in here, I know she got Mercury. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So this is why, and this part is really important. So this way, when you look at your natal chart, you are able to understand it better. If you have somebody that has, I'm just going to use the first house because the first house is what everybody sees when you meet this person. If somebody has Mercury in their first house, the radio signal that you are receiving from Mercury has to do with that area of life, which means that the most unique characteristic about this person is going to be their voice. And that area of life happens to deal with that person, the way they think. So that person's going to talk to themselves a lot. They're going to be over analytical of themselves, over analytical of other people. If it's, let's say, Mars in the first house, Mars happens to deal with initiation, drive, stamina, energy, competition. So if somebody has Mars in their first house, this person is going to be ripped. They're going to be at the gym. They're going to be competitive. You see what I'm saying? So the signal, the radio signal that you are receiving from any given planet, especially if it's in your first house, you're going to see that planet personified in somebody, especially if it sits alone in their first house. So if I wanted to see the way that Venus incarnates into a person, and let me go back and show y'all this. Okay, these are sigils. Venus has her own sigil. Mercury has its own sigil. So if I want to see the way Mercury, let me rephrase this, possesses somebody, especially if Mercury is in a house by itself, especially your first house, then I can see the characteristics of Mercury, the characteristics of Jupiter, if it's in a house by itself. Hello? If it's in your 8th house, it's going to be your sexuality. Like if somebody has Uranus in their 8th house, or somebody has Aquarius in their 8th house, 9 times out of 10, they're going to like the same sex. They're going to be homosexual because that's what Uranus, that's what Aquarius represents. It's above them. This is why most of the time people don't even choose who they like. It's chosen for them before they're even born. Now I will say, just because you have Aquarius in your 8th house or Uranus in your 8th house doesn't mean you're going to be homosexual. You might have a higher probability, but you might have like Uranus square Aries or something. Then it might prevent you from embodying that energy. But if you have, let's say, Aquarius in your first house, Uranus in your first house, Gemini in your first house with other aspects, then you will embody those characteristics. And over in 5D Mystery School, when we do our astrology classes, this is exactly what we do when we want to see how a planet acts. So I know how Saturn acts. I know how Pluto acts because they're both in my first house. I am Pluto. I am Saturn. I've been dealing with them the whole 39 years of me being in this avatar. Right? So if you look at your natal chart and you have Venus there, I can tell you you're beautiful. Right? Anybody that has Venus in their 10th house, their 7th house, their 4th house, or their first house, they're going to be seen as just face, what do you call it? Like face card, right? If it's in their first house, beautiful. If it's in their 10th house, this is how the world sees them, even if they don't see themselves that way. If they got Venus in their 7th house, their partners and their friendships, they're going to always think that that person is more beautiful than them. And if it's in their 4th house, their family is going to think that they're more beautiful than the rest of the family. Venus Scorpio in the 12th. Ooh, Venus and Scorpio in the 12th. That's tough. That's tough. The main reason why Venus in the 12th is tough is because your hidden enemies, the only reason they become your hidden enemies is jealousy. Either off of your material, like what you have been able to possess in this life, meaning your materials, you probably got a lot of money, or your face. Or your features. And also Venus in the 12th, they got like a lot of, sometimes you can feel ashamed of looking good, so you might do your best to like look bad. It's a weird psychological thing. Venus in the 12th, you might intentionally self-sabotage, like, why did you just cut all your hair off? You're like a whole 10. You're a 10 out of 10. What are you doing? You know? Venus in 12th, self-sabotagers. I'm sorry. All right, before I get out of here, who else has some placements they want me to read before I get out of here? I feel like doing that. Put up a placement, and I'll give you like a brief interpretation before I get out of here. But also, look at your chart ruler. Look at your chart ruler and know your chart ruler. Knowing your chart ruler is knowing thyself. What do I mean when I say chart ruler? Ouch. My knees. Oof. Y'all, don't get older. Your knees gonna start clicking and shit. Oof. Scorpio in the 8th. So if you're using a whole signs chart, then you are an Aries rising. If you have Scorpio in the 8th, you could also be a Pisces rising or Taurus rising, depending on if you're using a whole signs chart. But most likely you're an Aries rising. But here's my chart ruler on a using traditional astrology. So my chart ruler is Mars. The sign in your first house, if you are a Taurus rising, your chart ruler is Venus. If you're Aquarius rising, your chart ruler could be Saturn if you're using traditional astrology, or it could be Uranus if you're using minor astrology. But those are both your chart rulers. They're co-rulers, right? So I have both Pluto and Mars because I'm a Scorpio rising. So knowing the sign in your first house is so important, because that planet that rules that sign is going to have the most power in your natal chart. Know that, y'all. Know that. I wish I could give all of y'all free readings. Deadass. What house rule my career and money? I need help. Okay, this is a good question. This is a great question. Let me pin this. Y'all put up more questions. So the house that rules your career is going to be your 10th house. But your 10th house only shows you the environment of what your career is going to look like. Your second house can also show you your career. Your sixth house can show you your career. Your ninth house can show you your career. When I do a career reading for somebody, I use all of these because your second house is going to be the way you like to make money. Even your ascendant can show you your career because you're going to incorporate your personality into what you do. So a simple formula that can be done just by looking at career reading is midheaven plus ascendant equals what? And that's your career. If you're just doing a simple, basic, super basic reading, but it goes like, it's more in depth than that. Now your money is your second house and it's your eighth house, right? Your second house is how you traditionally like to go about making money, what you value, and then you can use your values to make you money. Now your eighth house is how you make money from other people, how your money is taken from you. This can be with taxes, right? This can be with lawsuits. This can be with alimony, like what's it called? Like when you have children and you're paying on your children, like it's like paying off a car, like you're paying off a child. I hate to, that's what it's called, but that's how I view it. When you're paying off your child, what is it called? Alimony or whatever it's called. That's your eighth house. So your second house is usually how you like to make money. Your eighth house is how you like to get money from other people and how money is taken from you. That's why the eighth house also deals with death and theft, like people stealing from you. Child support. Thank you, Nip Free. Child support. Paying off a child. How much do you owe your child? How much is your loan payment on your child? Y'all see why I'm not a father? Talking about children like car payments. Part of fortune at 29 degrees, conjunct moon, 27 degrees in Pisces. Now that is a blessing. To have your part of fortune at a Leo degree, at the last degree, before the degrees reset, that's important. In Pisces, at the 29th degree, conjunct the moon at the 27th. If you don't have a dream journal, you're doing yourself a huge disservice, especially depending on what house they're in. See, part of fortune is a calculation point that embodies your sun, your moon, and your ascendant. Your part of fortune, or the Arabics, the ancient astrologers called it your lot of fortune. You also have your lot of spirit, your lot of demon, right? You have a bunch of different lots, right, in your natal chart, right? And so these lots, they give you, they're like calculation points that just takes other luminaries and they just kind of like they give you a mathematical like equation, right? Astrology is math, right? Astrologers are mathematicians, okay? So when you take your part of fortune, your par's fortune is what you are naturally good at, like your natural ability, something that you don't even have to try to do because it comes so naturally to you. So if you are a, let's say, par's fortune in Taurus, you gets money. Your money's never funny. You gets it, unless your part of fortune is squaring Venus, right? If you got part of fortune in the fifth house, people are always flirting with you. You never have a problem getting dates. Children love you. Your part of fortune is in the 10th house. You never have a problem being put in the position to advance your career. People favor you in the public eye. Part of fortune in your, so just whatever area the part of fortune is in, and whatever sign it's in, whatever degree it's at, is going to give you a better description, a better picture of your natural ability, right? This is my first time catching you on live. Oh, I appreciate you being here. If we're really 13 zodiacs, would our sign change? Okay, I don't subscribe to the 13th zodiac. I don't subscribe to it. I've tried to prove myself wrong with this. I've looked at some of the most ancient astrological texts. I actually have some books here that are like super ancient. None of them ever have mentioned the 13th sign. Never. They always mention 12 signs. Just like 12 months. That's like as above, so below. Like, think about your claustrum. Like the story of Santa Claus. Like how Santa has 12 reindeer, how you have your 12 cranial nerves. Santa Claus, your claustrum goes down the chimney, your kundalini, the return of Christ, the same cerebral spinal fluid that goes up the kundalini, returns back to the optic thalamus, the light of the world, the return of Christ consciousness, story of Christ, Santa Claus, it's the same story. The North Pole, this is the North Pole here. You know? So it's more so, that's why going back to looking at the game as a game, you know? That boy said card payment on your kid. Y'all see how they do me? Y'all see how, it's whatever. I'm like the ugly stepchild for Instagram and TikTok, but it is what it is. But yeah, let me go back to what I was saying. To have your Aquarius is a to have any planet in Aquarius is a blessing. To have any planet in Aquarius is a blessing. Let me just say that. For one, if you have your North Node and your part of fortune in Aquarius, this means that people come to you like you are looked after. You are divinely guided by the collective. You are looked after by the collective. You are divinely guided by the sky above. Aquarius represents the sky. Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. Uranos was the name for the sky in the ancient days. Uranos is the sky. So, side note, this is an important side note. The next 20 years is probably going to be a lot of talk of like an ice age and stuff like that, because having Pluto in Aquarius, right? Pluto is fixed ice or fixed water, which is ice, coldness, cold things. So putting that in Aquarius, air, the sky, means that we're probably going to have some of the coldest days come up for us in the next 20 years. Damn, y'all, I got to get out of here. I'm just going to finish reading these. So as Pluto crosses my south node, I will enter the 10th house from the fortune peak period. What do you think of Sidereal versus Western? The sky apps are more aligned with Sidereal. How can I shorten this so I won't go off for another hour? Sidereal astrology gives you a look into Sidereal astrology is constellation astrology, meaning that you look at all of the constellations beyond the 12 that we keep for traditional astrology, Western astrology. Western astrology actually predates all other forms because America is more ancient than many people think. It's more ancient than many people know of. We are sitting on ancient land here in America. Super ancient. My part of fortune is in my 10th house in Aquarius. I feel like I could struggle being with, having Aquarius in your 10th house? Bro, this is your time. I mean, yeah, for a little bit, you're gonna go through your shit in a public eye, like your whole life and death cycles and stuff like that, and people probably aren't gonna fuck with you on the internet for a little bit. But once that life and death cycle is over, you're going to have ample amount of opportunity to blow up on the internet. Matter of fact, if your Aquarius is in the 10th house, I want to know if you're using traditional astrology or if you're using whole sign, or if you're using Placidus, because if you're using whole sign or if you're using Placidus, and if your midheaven is also Aquarius, this is your time. This is literally your time to shine. We really have 13 months, gang. You have 13 months on a lunar calendar, gang. You have 13 months on a lunar calendar. But keep in mind that the moon was not always here, gang. Mr. Matrix doesn't like this combo, right? We honor Venus again, we will see 13. When we honor Venus again, we will see 13 appear. I have so much to say about that. Venus is Lucifer. We know this, right? Venus is Lucifer. Matter of fact, I don't want to say COVID. I just said it. So I'm not going to say what I was going to say. But some recent events actually has a lot to do with Venus, which is why Lucifer Rays was put into the thing. Let me see how much battery I have left. Alright, I got 7%, y'all. I got 7%. So let me just end this with saying I appreciate y'all being here. I truly appreciate y'all always kicking it with me. I will go live again soon. This live is going to be posted on YouTube. If you want to get a reading with by me, make sure you go to astro5d.com or myastroherbs.com. Follow on YouTube, because I do post a lot of stuff on YouTube that I don't put anywhere else. You can come join Patreon as a free member. We do have meditations on Patreon. We do have film nights. That's all. Find your tribe, man. Find your tribe. I can't express that enough. Find your tribe right now. Pluto ain't going back into Capricorn. If you out here by yourself, you're out here naked. Months equals moons. That's why they say it's been many moons. Okay, so now that I got all of the announcements out of the way, follow me on this, do this. Now that I got all that out of the way, anybody have any final questions before I get out of here? I believe the old Bibles had 13 months. Y'all really want me to stay on here because Venus is Lucifer, ? Yes, Venus is Lucifer. Yeah, the morning star. Matter of fact, go back and read the part of the Bible where Jesus was getting crucified and see where it talks about the bull. Right? And then you see what Venus rules over. Venus rules over Taurus, the bull. I think Lucifer is another star. No, Lucifer is Venus. I can promise you this. Lucifer is Venus. I can promise you this. Quick, somebody put more money in the meter. Yo, Tahoe, this is my fam. This is like my sister I've never met. For real. Actually, Tahoe, you actually remind me of like my blood sister. Y'all dressed like y'all have a lot of the same characteristics. Even though I've never like met you, she's in the A as well. She's in Atlanta. He does post a lot on YouTube. I do, man. Y'all follow me on YouTube. I only be getting like 15 views, 20 views on YouTube. I'm waving at random people that come in the room. All right, I have to use the bathroom again, so let me get off of here. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all being here, and I will see y'all in the next live. Take care of yourself and each other. Peace.